This was the first time in Jason's life that he ever shed tears, because at that moment, he had truly hit rock bottom. Just days earlier, during an underground fight, he had accidentally put his opponent in critical condition. That match ended up costing a crime boss tens of millions of dollars in gambling losses. Enraged, the boss stormed into Jason's home and murdered his wife. When Jason came home and saw what had happened, he didn't fight back. He just dropped to his knees. It wasn't out of cowardice. He simply had nothing left to live for. The mob boss's son could have ended it all right there with a bullet, but he had a better idea. To send a message and assert dominance, he devised a cruel punishment. Jason would be under constant surveillance, and unless he took his own life, anyone who got close to him would be silently executed. Not wanting to endanger his landlord, Jason packed his few belongings and headed to a homeless shelter for the night. On the subway, a young guy recognized him and praised his last match, saying how impressive he'd been. To avoid bringing trouble to the kid, Jason pretended he was someone else and walked away. Despite all the trauma and loss, Jason's heart remained kind. When a homeless man eyed his new shoes, Jason first tried to scare him off, but when the man took off his own shoes, revealing feet riddled with wounds, Jason quietly handed his shoes over without a word. The next morning, everyone in the shelter had left, except the homeless man. Jason walked over cautiously and realized the man wasn't breathing. He was already dead. The gang's reach was wide, and their ruthlessness knew no limits. Wandering the streets after leaving the shelter, Jason was bumped into by an elderly beggar hobbling along. At first, he didn't think much of it, but later, while trying to buy something at a convenience store, he realized his wallet was gone. He'd been pickpocketed. Unable to pay, Jason just burst into laughter. The store owner had no choice but to call the police. And who showed up? None other than a dirty cop Jason had reported years ago. What are the odds? The crooked officer dragged Jason to an abandoned spot where he and a few others took turns beating him.
Nice to see you, rat.
They called him Cursed, a walking disaster who brought doom to everyone he loved. They demanded to know why he hadn't just ended his own life. That night, Jason finally lost the will to live. As he stood on the edge of a subway platform, ready to jump, fate stepped in, and he met the person who would change everything.